seated. It is my honor to welcome you to the Universalist Unitarian Fellowship of Central Oregon. If this is your first time, welcome. So, who are we? We're a rich and diverse mix of quality beings made up of diverse faiths, even some with no faith. Here we honor everyone's spirituality. For instance, my family was and still is very conservative Christian, and yet my faith has evolved over the last 25 years from Southern Baptist to Methodist to Presbyterian, and I finally am here at UU. My husband, his mother's side, had Jewish roots, and even he went through a Pentecostal period. But when I met him, he was leaning towards Buddhism. So when we moved to Bend, we gave UUFCO a try and found it hit the spot in several ways. Some of my best friends here are atheists, and they are some of the most delightful beings you could ever meet. So you ask, how does this work? And the answer I can offer is love. We all love and respect and delight together in our diversity. So whatever your age or your income or the color of your skin or whatever your sexual orientation or gender identity or life story, you will find a welcome heart here. That's the treasure I've found in UUFCO. So welcome. This morning, relax. And as my mother would say, stay a while. Now, they've asked me to introduce our guest speaker. And how do you introduce a guest speaker who's your best friend? So the best way I could tell you about Thom Larson is to convey a short story about how I met this man. Back around 2005 to 2007, I was having the worst 2 years of my life, experiencing most physically and emotional drain and meltdown. I was living in Texas, and you can say, well, that's the reason. So a friend and fellow minister here in Oregon, in Salem, she called and said, I have a basement apartment, and why don't you come here and stay as long as you need? Moved the needle up 2 years. I'd only been able to find clerical and administrative work, and still felt lost. A neighbor asked me to have coffee with her, and she was the district superintendent for the Methodist church. She said she had 2 churches that need a pastor, and I told her, listen, I'm gay and I'm Baptist. And she said, so? Moved the needle up 3 weeks after meeting with both churches. I now met with the Bishop of Oregon, Idaho Conference. He liked me, and he liked my credentials and wanted to appoint me to these 2 churches with a designated what I call the Mod Squad, minister of another denomination. At their upcoming annual conference in Boise, I met a man called Thom, and we had a little time, so we were taking a walk, and I said, I have lots of reservations about what's going to happen here. And I said, my life has been a mess, and I don't understand life's music around me. And he said, James, it's all going to be fine. Relax. Enjoy the journey. And maybe you should dance with the music you hear. Remember, I have your back. I did as he said, and he has been through thick and thin for 20 years, a friend, a mentor, a spiritual cheerleader. He's one of the most gracious men I know. And so that's my introduction of Reverend Thom Larson. I would invite you to please rise in body or spirit and join in singing, my fault.
We did the song too early, so it's child's play.
That's my husband directing me. We did the previous song earlier. We're not going to do it again, so you've already sung it. So now let's have the chalice lighting, please. Two of my favorite people. Go ahead.
Okay. My name is Wendy Howard, and Bob Barber, my husband, is lighting the chalice today as I read the chalice lighting words. They're from Gordon B. McKeeman. Deep calls unto deep. Joy calls unto joy. Light calls unto light. Let the kindling of this flame rekindle in us the inner light of love, of peace, of hope. And as one flame lights another, nor grows the less, we pledge ourselves to be bearers of the light wherever we are.
Thank you. Now let us sing Spirit of Life. Could you rise in spirit or in body?
Spirit of life, come unto me. Sing in my heart all the stirrings of compassion. Flow in the wind, rise in the sea. Move in the hand, giving life the shape of justice. Roots hold me close, wings set me free. Spirit of life, come to me, come to me.
You may be seated. Now, Amy will lead us in Time for All Ages.
Good morning. My name is Amy Brock, and I'm the Director of Religious Exploration for Children and Youth, and it is time for our Time for All Ages. So if you are young or young at heart, I invite you to find your way to the rug for our story today. I have a gift for you today. Both of you can open it. And open it and see what's inside. What is it? Ooh, what do you think it is? A ball? What kind of ball? A red ball. It is a red ball, but it's also a really special ball. And it's a special ball because we can fill it with anything that we want to fill it with. So you're going to get to help me. Maybe you can help me. Do you want to help me? Okay. So you can put anything that you want to put in this ball that makes you feel joyful inside. And then when you're done, you can pass it to someone else. Let her go first. Ooh, she's going to put in her dog because it brings her joy. Ooh, Alici. All right. What do you want to put in it? What brings you joy? What do you want to put in it? You have to put joy in it. You're going to put in your cat. What's your cat's name? Stink? Slink? Sneak. Okay. What do you want to put in it? You're going to put stuffies in it? Can I put something in it? Can I have a turn? Thank you. I'm gonna put bubbles in the ball, because bubbles float around and they bring everyone joy. You know what I noticed when we were putting things in our ball? Did anybody have the same thing that they put in the ball? No. We all had different things that we put in our ball. We had different kinds of joy. So let me ask you another question. Before you put your joyful thing in the ball, were you feeling joyful or were you feeling some other kind of way? You just thought about it? Yeah. Well, whether we were feeling joyful before we put our joy in the ball or after we put our joy in the ball, I think that we're feeling joyful now. I see lots of smiles down here. And so, when we come together, we get to share joy together. We can put joy in our ball, or we can share joy with our friends, and our joy just grows and grows and grows the more that we share it with people all around us. And we are going to continue exploring joy today in our RE class. Today we have our last day of our Deeper Joy curriculum, which has been a really fun tabletop role play adventure. So we're going to have our last day playing that together. But before we go, we need to say the Children's Covenant. In this place, I am kind. In this place, I am loving. In this place, I am a friend to the earth and all animals and people. In this place, I am loved.
Please rise in body or spirit as we sing As You Go. As you go, may joy surround you. As you go, go in peace. Know our love is with you always. As you go, as you go. As you go, may joy surround you. As you go, go in peace. Know our love is with you always. As you go, as you go.
I am delighted to introduce the new person to read all of our announcements and the wonderful new position she has filled, Laura Pitney.
Thank you. It's exciting to be up here for my first Sunday of announcements. So my name's Laura Pitney, and my pronouns are she and her, and I am the engagement coordinator now for UUFCO, which is the not Chayla position. So in sort of honor of our newness, I'm going to first tell you that I'm still transitioning into the job. And I am not even part-time yet, so give me lots of grace and patience as I move out of my family business and into this family business. Let's see, what do I want to tell you first? Oh yes, so you may know this and you may not know this. The first Sunday after Labor Day in the Unitarian Universalist world is a time that historically congregations were coming back from a break. You may be coming back from a break. We've been obviously having services every Sunday. But next Sunday is still what we call the ingathering. It is the time when congregations come back together for the first service of the year. It kind of parallels the academic year. And to have a ritual around that time, we do something called a water ceremony. This has been going on for years. So if you haven't done so already, collect yourself a little bit of water or bring some water next week that represents something special to you. It could be a place you visited over the past year. It could be from your faucet because maybe home is very special. Do not bring this much, please. Perhaps bring this much. because we're going to pour it all into a vessel, our shared water, to represent our reunion, our coming together. So bring water, and it will represent us coming back together. And let's see, what else do I want to tell you? Oh, yes, we're going to have sweets after the service that day. If you would like to volunteer to bring sweets, just bring them. Handheld things so we can stand around and talk and have coffee and eat sweets. And if you want to help clean up afterwards, I know some people would be very happy if you emailed fun with 2 U's, F-U-U-N, at uufco.org. So that's the water ceremony next week, so please come for the in-gathering. Let's see. Oh, another wonderful thing. If you are interested in participating in a small group sharing circle for the year, it runs from September to June. We call it Soul Matters. There is a sign up at the Connections Corner just to the right of exiting this gathering hall, or the sanctuary. Put your name down if you want to receive the packet, if you don't already receive it, if you want to be in the group, and I will email you the registration link so that we can get everybody organized into groups. This is not a discussion group. It's a monthly theme where you have an opportunity for about 3 weeks to contemplate information that you get in the packet, and then you come together with a small group, 5 to 7, 8 people, and you share. It's about an hour-and-a-half long meeting once a month, and if you've never done this before and you're curious, we will be having a taste of soul on the 14th of September, right after the service, and you can come and you can have an experience of what that might be. So maybe you've been curious, or maybe you've never heard of this before. Come on the 14th, we'll have a little circle, and you can experience that, and then you can sign up and get put in a group. Examples of themes: building belonging, cultivating compassion, nurturing gratitude. Those are just the first 3 of the year. Let's see. Oh, yes. I will be leading a gathering for women as part of the Women's Connections. It's a twice-a-year gathering. We're going to be doing it on October 4th. Save the date. If you're interested in finding out more or getting the registration link, you can put your name on the sign-up sheet at the kiosk. And finally, if you know how to rack chairs, could you see Leora after the service? We need a little bit of help. And that is all. Thank you so much. Thank you for being so kind to me on my very first day.
Thank you, Laura. If you don't know her, please introduce yourself. You'll be blessed. We now have a season of gratitude as we collect our offering, not only for this fellowship, but for the programs and the staff and the ministry that we offer our community. As we pass these baskets, please know of our gratitude to you for your gifts and that keep our ministry healthy. We often forget the core of giving, for through this act, we commit ourselves together, knowing that the funds we gather collectively do a much greater good for both ourselves, our community, and our world than they could ever have done alone. But it's also something that sustains and it grows the life and ministry of this marvelous fellowship. So may each of us give in love and in hope. There's some of you that haven't met my husband. His name is Tim Nichols. I'd like Tim to join me up here, if you would, please. This morning we will have a responsive reading, and we would like for you to join in if you could. Tim will read voice 1, I will read voice 2, and there will be a place that says all, and can you figure out which ones you read? This is a reading called Here from Robert Bernardo. It's from the synagogue Sidur Sa'ar Zavihiv. It has been called the LGBTQ synagogue in San Francisco. We found these very meaningful, especially for this particular fellowship.
When the world is about to crush me with all of its weight,
I find safety here.
I find safety here.
When people have been too cruel because of their ignorance,
I find compassion here.
I find compassion here. When my government tries to silence me,
I find voice here. I find voice here.
when I feel a sense of helplessness during these uncertain times,
I find peace here.
I find peace here.
When I am lost and tossed about in the day-to-day maze of activity,
I find direction here.
I find direction here. When loneliness slowly creeps into my life like the evening mist,
I find community here.
I find community here.
When I feel isolated at times,
I find comfort here.
I find comfort here.
When friends seem nowhere to be found in the daily grind,
I find good friends here.
I find good friends here.
When I sometimes lose sight of what I can do for the community,
I find purpose here. I find purpose here. When I feel that my family is scattered hundreds of miles away,
I find nearness of family here.
I find nearness of family here. When the cacophony outside is too much and I need to be soothed,
I find beautiful music here.
I find beautiful music here.
When I run around and take simple things for granted,
I find meaning here. I find meaning here. When I am gone and have left, only my name,
I know I will be remembered here.
I know I will be remembered here.
May God bless the reading that we just had. Thank you. We're living in a community of experience of life together. In each of our lives, we experience up and downs and zigzags, high points and low points, and all points in between. So now we enter a time as sharing our joys and sorrows and gratitudes in our community. If you ever wish to submit a joy and sorrow, these forms are located out in our kiosk, and you're welcome to submit that every week by anyone who would like to share these with our large community. During this time, while I'm reading the joys and sorrows and gratitudes, I'll invite anybody to light a candle on one of the trays on either side of our sanctuary. So these are the joys and sorrows and gratitudes, and one announcement someone stuck in, but I'm very gracious and I'll read it anyway. Tony Collette, Greg Hallberg. A joy, these flowers this week are in celebration of our 25th wedding anniversary. Getting into good trouble together for a quarter of a century. Gwen Weisling, blessings for my mother's amazing life. Family and friends celebrated her incredible 92 years shared with all who knew her. Her memory and impact lives on. Larry Price and Martha Lawson-Hop, a belated joy to remember the 10th anniversary of the first wedding in our new church building, which happened to be ours. Congratulations. Steph Jenkins, a joy and gratitude that on Wednesday I was offered the Bend Youth Collective position. So excited to serve the UUFCO in this capacity and to continue the wonderful work with youths in Central Oregon. Mary Rogers, I thought of prayer and reconciliation with family for my brother, David, who is now in his final journey. Peace be with him. Martha Lawson-Hop, my joy is that evacuees from the flat fire near Sisters are able to return to their homes. My sorrow is for those whose homes and properties burned. My gratitude is to the firefighters who saved many homes. And finally, I have a big worry for my sister who is having her third brain surgery this week after a stroke. Definitely keep her in your prayers. Maggie Miller and Pat Smith, a joy. We attended the UU Camp Elliott on is it the Flood Canal? Hood Canal in Washington. We have placed pamphlets in the pamphlet box and to the left as you walk into the fellowship. There's a camp in December, so check it out. Judy Hurlbert. What a joyful time we all UU campers had at Walton Lake. What a lovely place with smoke, well, almost. Thank you, Patrick and Flora, for hosting us and your hard work. As we go through this time and enter this time of silent meditation, I would ask that you sit comfortably in your chair. Focus your mind on your breathing, deeply in, then gently out. I invite you now into a time of silent meditation that will begin and end with the ringing of the bell. In good times and in difficult times, in times when we are grateful and in times when we are hurting, it is good to be with one another in community. Reverend Thom?
Well, good morning. It was a very nice introduction that you gave me, James. And in fact, we have enjoyed a very important friendship, and we've shared many good times together. So thank you for inviting me. So when James invited me to be the guest speaker today, this was several months ago, he gave me a list of the Sundays that were open and told me that I could choose any day that I wanted to speak. And I didn't immediately accept James's invitation. I've been retired from the ministry for quite some time, and I very rarely preach. But since James is such a good friend and I would do almost anything for James, I gave it some very serious consideration. And while I didn't have a specific Sunday that I wanted to preach, I knew that if I did accept the invitation, there was a particular time during the summer that I would really want to be speaking, because it would be close to an event that over the last 10 years has become very significant in my life. That event is the Strength for the Journey camp that's held at the Methodist Subtle Lake camp. And that camp was held just 2 weeks ago. The camp was first held 29 years ago and was organized to give love, support, and encouragement to people who had AIDS or were HIV positive. In the early years of the camp, when the ravages of AIDS were at their worst, many of the campers who came were seriously ill, and the need for constant medical care and support was essential. All the campers who came were in need of compassionate community. Thankfully, over the years and through advances in treatment, prevention, and research, the death toll from full-blown AIDS has diminished significantly. And the campers who come now are on treatment programs and protocols that allow them to live close to normal lives. However, being HIV positive is still a chronic condition that requires constant medical attention, and the diagnosis still carries a stigma that marginalizes those infected with the virus from the general population. The largest numbers of campers who come to Strength for the Journey come from the LGBTQIA+ community. Many of the campers who come have issues with addictions that have put them at risk for contracting the virus. While campers come from as far away as Idaho and Southern California, the majority of campers come from the Portland area. The community is a glorious conglomeration of races, religions, genders, economic status, and who knows what else. And for the past 10 years, being part of the camp is an experience of profound joy for me. The camp is 5 days of loving, supporting, caring for, encouraging, and accepting one another. We play, we laugh, we eat, we fellowship, we dress up, we dance, and we share our talents. Some are amazing, some are questionable, but all are graciously received. We experience together a community based on what love for each other can be. Almost every camp that I have attended, sometime during the camp, I will hear one of the campers say that this time at the camp is what gives them the strength to keep going through the rest of the year. And every year my heart is filled with joy and gratitude for being accepted into the community. I am proud to be part of the LGBTQIA, HIV, and AIDS communities. I want to just share that the reading we did today was a reading that we shared at camp, and it just touched my heart so much when James invited me to share something with you. I immediately thought of that. So I thought that if I accepted James' invitation to speak to you, it would be good to choose a Sunday when the joy of the camp was fresh. And so this is the Sunday I chose. And I'm really thrilled to be able to tell you a little bit about the camp, and it's a joy to be here with you today. But I want to share a little more about joy with you this morning, mostly because in these turbulent and difficult times that we're living across the globe, joy is something that I'm struggling almost daily to feel. And to be perfectly honest and upfront, my difficulty in feeling joy began with the last election cycle and its aftermath. I find joy in spending time with my 4 grandsons, building with magnetiles and Legos, doing puzzles, reading stories, playing hide and seek. But I worry every day about what the world is going to be for them as they grow up. I find lots of joy in the beauty and wonder of creation that's so prominently on display here in Central Oregon. But I grieve the policies and practices of the present administration that deny climate change, contribute to global warming, and care nothing about the protection of the environment. I find lots of joy in working with people here in Bend who are houseless and marginalized, and I receive as much and often more from them in terms of friendship and community as I share with them. But I grieve the cuts that are coming to Medicaid and SNAP and other government programs that will make life even more difficult for them. And while I find great joy in the wonders of human intelligence and creativity, I grieve the division, the hatefulness, the demonizing, and the untruthfulness that is so present in our daily dealings with each other. While there are abundant sources of joy in my life, those feelings have been stifled with feelings of anxiety, sorrow, frustration, outrage, shame, and fear. And I know I have lots of company with those feelings. Maybe some of you are struggling with those feelings too. And what makes it even harder is that I often feel helpless and powerless to effect any immediate significant change. Oh, I do what I can. I write letters to my legislators and representatives. I participate in rallies and marches of resistance and voice my protests. I attend town halls and gather with other like-minded people to strategize what we can do next. But those efforts seem to be of little consequence as day after day, word of some firing or takeover or catastrophic policy change is broadcast in the news. I struggle to feel much joy in a time when the world seems to be teetering on disaster and destruction. Just this last Tuesday afternoon, I was gathering with some men from our church, and a friend who I consider to be very intelligent and well-informed shared his feeling that the only way the problems we're facing will end is with nuclear annihilation. And his comment just filled me with terror. What can I do? How do I prepare for that? How can I think about joy or celebration when total destruction looms on the horizon? I have to tell you that this past 4th of July was especially difficult for me to enjoy. I wasn't feeling any desire to celebrate our nation. I didn't want to do anything but shut myself in my house. The weather was rainy. The sky was gray and gloomy and threatening. My wife and I were alone at home. I wasn't feeling good about celebrating our country that once stood as an icon of democracy, freedom, and possibility for those who were the most oppressed and marginalized. But because we seem to have forgotten who we are and what we're about, I just didn't feel like celebrating. I had no desire to stay up and see the fireworks. Sometime that late afternoon, I came across a posting on Facebook written by Anne Lamott. In her essay, she shared the struggle she was having in celebrating that day. Her feelings were much like mine, and she acknowledged that many other Americans were feeling the same way. But after acknowledging the state of her mood, she went on to say, "We must celebrate, or they win. They want the day, but we can't let them have it. Independence Day is America's day. Sure, we bleeding heart nervous cases are teetering on the edge of despair, but that's exactly why I'm calling us to move into a new phase of resistance, hope and joy. In ghastly times, these are subversive." Lamott went on to articulate a number of things that were happening across the country that gave her joy and that gave me joy too, like the president sinking popularity in the polls, like his failed military parade, like the growing number of people coming out to protest his takeover of the government. She concluded her remarks with these words: "This Friday, my friends and I will celebrate the land that embraces political marches and rallies, the ones so far and those still to come. This is we the people, and that is the ultimate and most profound aspect of America. We are going to keep showing up and talking about what needs to be done and what is possible right now. We give some money if we can to food banks, to congressional candidates in swing districts, to an immigrant rights organization, the ACLU, and Project Hope. We steady ourselves for whatever the future might hold. Left foot, right foot, left foot, breathe. Yes, things are god-awful in so many ways, but we can't go limp. This is what they want. I remember George Carlin as saying, 'There are nights when the wolves are silent and only the moon howls.' That night is now. We are the moon shining in the dark. We have begun to howl as one. I'll be celebrating the 4th, smiling, overeating, and celebrating this great land, the home of the brave." Well, I was moved by Lamott's words. I didn't overeat on the 4th of July, but I did enjoy some good barbecued ribs. And I did go out to watch the fireworks. Cindy and I sat on the curb by a house where the family had gathered with their chairs and blankets, and I listened to the oohs and the ahs of the young children dazzled by the streaming fountains of the display. Their joy and amazement was palpable. And in my heart, I knew that their joy was what it was all about. The future was theirs. And if somehow we could just stay together in community, loving and caring for each other, the dream of freedom and justice and compassion just might prevail. Right around the 4th of July, Richard Rohr was using joy as a theme for his daily meditations. In one of the meditations, Ross Gay shared these words: "What happens if joy is not separate from pain? What if joy and pain are fundamentally tangled up with one another? Or even more to the point, what if joy is not only entangled with pain or suffering or sorrow, but is also what emerges from how we care for each other through those times? What if joy, instead of a refuge or relief from heartache, is what effloresces from us as we help each other carry our heartaches? My hunch is that joy is an ember for, or a precursor to, wild and unpredictable and transgressive and unboundaried solidarity, and that solidarity might incite further joy, which might incite further solidarity, and on and on. My hunch is that joy emerging from our common sorrow might draw us together. It might depolarize us and de-atomize us enough that we consider what in common we love. And though attending to what we hate in common is too often the rage, and it happens also to be very big business, noticing what we love and enjoy and celebrate in common and studying that might help us survive. It's why I think of joy, which gets us to love, as being a practice of survival. I have to tell you, it isn't very often that I think about linking my suffering with my joy in order to find love and peace. But when I stop to think about it, it's very close to what happens to the camp I love so much and what makes it such a beloved community. In the week of Rohr's meditations, there was this quote from Dr. Barbara Holmes. She shared these thoughts about joy. Thich Nhat Hanh says, "Be peace." I'm suggesting we be joy. You may not feel it, but embody it, live it, smile it. Is it being fake? I don't think so. I think it's holding space for the joy already given and received that you may not be aware of yet. It's helping your body express an inner state of being. And don't forget the power of community to create spaces of joy when you cannot engender the joy yourself. That joy comes during worship, during fellowship, and even during crisis. Civil rights workers found their joy in music as they came together. I've always said the greatest antidote to depression and oppression is joy. There is joy coming together in one accord. When you feel alone, look at those who are with you in the struggle and those who have gone before. No matter the circumstances, it was community that empowered the justice movements in this country and in others. It was a momentum of like minds focused and trusted in God that gave activists the energy to face their fears. Well, we are living in difficult, frightening, and challenging times. And more than ever, we need each other. We need to be in community, open, loving, encouraging, especially with our immigrant and marginalized communities. We need each other to see and focus on and celebrate the joy. And we need to howl as one. Our joy can never be taken away from us if we stay united and celebrate the blessings of life and love that we have to share. And those blessings are beyond measure. With all my heart, I do believe our joy will help us keep moving forward through our pain and help us overcome. Come join me tomorrow at the Peace Corner for the Workers Over Billionaires rally, and we can howl to our heart's content. Amen.
Thank you. Thank you, Tom. And I just wanted to say how much I love each one of you that is here. You make my life happy. I wanted, if I had my choice, for us to have a huge hug, and we all get hugged. I know that that's impossible. I wanted us to encourage each other as well as ourselves before we leave. Now, about 6 or 7 years ago, I was speaking. I was asked to speak for this fellowship. I'd had a song come in at the very end, and the people that talked to me said, "Listen, glad you spoke. I really loved your song." They didn't say anything about what I said, but they said, "I like your song." And so I thought for us, especially as we go through some difficult times, we need to encourage each other and to uplift each other and just to speak our joy. So I decided I would ask Sue to lead us in a song. Now, these are the directions. You have to listen to the directions or it's not going to work. When the piano begins to play, I want you to stand as you are able. And the song will be a song, "You Never Walk Alone." For some writer and composer I never know, you know. And I will be coming down, and you're already standing, as we begin singing, I will come down the center aisle. As I pass your aisle, I want you to face the people on the other side or on the back or wherever you want to look. Find someone and sing this song to them or to yourself or to the world. We'll sing one verse and 2 choruses, and I just want you to make this your song, realizing that you'll never walk alone. Let's see what we can do. Are you ready? Sing with your whole heart.
When you walk through a storm, keep your head up high and don't be afraid of the dark.
Please remain standing. Tom, come up. I'm going to ask you, if you can, just a second, if you could help us extinguish the light. As he does that, let us all speak of our covenant. Love is the spirit of this fellowship, and service is its law. This is our covenant, to dwell together in peace, to seek the truth in love, and to help one another. Reverend Tom has a closing prayer.
So I'm going to conclude with some words from, believe it or not, Meryl Streep. Love may cause you to shed a lot of tears, but don't let those tears take away your smile. Love may bring moments when your heart is breaking, but don't let those wounds take away your soul. Life may try to steal many hopes from you, but don't let those losses kill your dreams. Life may try to leave you disappointed and feeling despair, but let joy flood your hearts and lift your spirits with new hope, new loves, and new possibilities. Go in peace. Amen.